Welcome. How many in your party? 2?
No, just the one.
All right, party of 1, follow me.
Having a me party. A party by myself. A me party. I don't need no...
Hello, welcome to Charlotte's house, and happy second podiversary to me. Thank you so much if you have been following along the last couple of years. And welcome to new viewers. After my last podcast, I had a number of new viewers, which was so exciting. Thank you so much for joining me. And my name is Charlotte, coming to you from northern Lower Michigan. And if you're new, just give you a forewarning, the dogs bark a lot. So we deal with that. If you're returning, you're used to that by now. Anyway, so, I need to stop bouncing the table. So let's see, I have some knitting for you today, some crochet. I will probably insert a video to update you on my quilt project that I'm making. And I have some new fabric to show for bags. And okay, and maybe we'll get outside. It's a beautiful day, and we will switch around some compost buckets. Honestly, I took them outside to play before this. So, for goodness sakes. Okay, let's see. So, to go with my cupcake, I have some tea to wash down the cupcake. This is my beautiful teapot that Scott and I received as a wedding gift from my maid of honor, Mindy, and her family 26 years ago. And it is the best mint tea I have had to date. I got this at Wool & Honey in Cedar, Michigan. It's now my local yarn shop, which is an hour and a half away, but it is worth the drive, I will tell you. Orchard Mint. And they do sell this on their website, and they have 1 or 2 other flavors. It is, all the ingredients, I believe, are from northern Michigan, so right here, and yes, in Leelanau County. I'm in Charlevoix County, but an hour and a half away, Leelanau. So, Orchard Mint, the best. The best, the best. Okay, let's see. Why don't we talk about finished objects? Yay! This is... No, that's enough. The September sweater by Petite Knit. And the pattern calls for silk mohair held 3 strands of silk mohair together. I decided not to do that, and I've already gone over this, but just a refresher, I used Roberta Rae Fibers, which is my company with my friend Geraldine. This is our bisque mohair, and this is Little Angel in BFL, cashmere, and silk, and I held them together. And here it is. It's finished. I'm extremely happy with it. It is incredibly warm. I made it to the length. My favorite sweater length is just over the belt loop on my pants. Now I will hopefully, I figured out how to insert pictures by now, so I will insert a picture of where the pattern stopped and how much space was left for the end of the yarn. And I've already talked to, if you're new, I have very long arms and everything I buy is like right here on me, and it gets highly annoying to have sleeves that aren't long enough. And so when I make shirts, I add inches to the sleeves, and I've been adding inches to the sweater. So I added, oh, I left these in so you could see. These are the repeats. And that one looks higher, but they do match, I promise. So this was the original length of the sweater, and it has been washed and blocked. I did not stretch these at all. I kept them kind of bunched up. I did pull down on this a little bit when I was blocking. But you can see the shoulder seam. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. So glad I persevered with, you know, the ripping out 3 times in order to get the brioche stitch to match correctly. Oh, but anyway, so back to the sleeves. So this first marker here was the original length of the pattern. Well, before our washing and blocking, and I'll try to insert in the picture here, this was way up here, and it's 2.5 inches on the cuff. And so I thought, well, I didn't know how much this would give in the pattern. She says over time the brioche stitch will give sideways, but she didn't say anything about lengthwise. So I didn't know if this would give lengthwise or not. Of course you could stretch it out and block it, but I didn't necessarily want to do that. So I added another repeat, which was fine because that made this even tighter, which was fine. Well, as you can see, they're quite long, but I'm kind of okay with it. Her sleeves are kind of balloony, and of course I could pull it higher up on the shoulder if I wanted to help take care of that. I thought about taking this, because it would be super easy, take this out to this marker and then do maybe a 3-inch cuff, but you know what, I think I'm just gonna leave well enough alone. The sleeves are great. I love them. It is so incredibly warm. So incredibly warm. So, ooh, let me see the salt lamp. Oh, I should show you that picture my daughter made in art class. Anyway, so yeah, my first brioche, aside from Stephen West's little tiny brioche in the speckle and pop shawl 2 years ago, this is my first brioche. It wasn't without problems, but I did it. Oh my gosh, this tea is so good. So there we are. And I do have, as you can see, a shirt. Without a shirt, it's pretty see-through, but I would always have a t-shirt on anyway. All winter long I have long sleeve t-shirts on under everything, or those thermal tops. Oh, and I already showed these off, but they don't match the sweater, but I'm wearing my Christmas socks. So it's so exciting. Isn't this fun? It's so exciting to make things and to wear them. I don't know. No one else cares. No one else knows. But if you've made it and you're wearing it, you get excited and you just have a smile on your face. Because you made it and you're wearing it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, so yeah, so this is how much yarn so this 3 skeins of the BFL and this. Well, that's a lot of yarn left. So she also has a hat pattern. I don't think I've printed it out yet, called the Stockholm hat. Is it brioche? It might be brioche. Just a standard nice cuff. I need a cuff. We've talked about that if you've been with me for a while. So I'm pretty sure pretty sure I have enough to make a hat. So that will be a hat. Okay, oh, and there's one thing to show that I didn't show last time. Oh, do I have the pattern? I don't know if I have the pattern. Oh, bummer. I don't think I had the pattern up here for this. I'll look it up real quick. Okay, pretty sure I showed the picture for this before, but this is an older, you can tell by his photograph, this is an older Stephen West pattern called Fringed. And our Roberta Rae Fiber Company, we are starting to get into mohair. And so I made this, the fringe shawl, as a display for one of our recent fiber shows down in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So here we are, fringed. I love it. I have not made a single thing with fringe on it, and I'm very happy with it. And I kind of faded in the coral fringe there. This is all, oh, and the wonderful thing is that this is a DK pattern. So this is DK, Roberta Rae Fibers. And can I remember the colors? No. Oh, for goodness sake. But they're in the store. So there's the darker DK. Excuse me, I sneezed. And then there's a lighter one. So I used one skein of this. I used it until it ran out. Then I started on the lighter. I used it until it ran out. And I was actually short a section, I think. But I didn't want to open another skein just for this. So I used all of this. I used all of this. I did 2 or 3 extra rows of the coral. There might be a little coral. I have some coral left, but not very. Guys, stop. Oh my gosh. Honestly, every single video, really? Stop. No. Okay. So I used up all of the gray, and then this is held double. The DK is held double with mohair. So I used the same gray mohair. So I used 2 grays and 1 of the coral. And then I used, you can see and then the fringe is made with the mohair. So I used the gray until, my intention was to make the fringe all gray, but I ran out and I was not gonna open another one for this little tiny bit here. So then I used the coral mohair on the rest. But you can see there's a little stripe of mohair here. This little tiny stripe is, I didn't want to open a third one. So, I mean, honestly, with shawls, anything really, you can use whatever yarn you want. You can fill in with scraps, you can do whatever you want. So most of this is Roberta Rae Fibers. But for this little stripe here, in the pattern, he used a brilliant blue, but I didn't want to have another color. I didn't want to open up another one, and I had some, oh my gosh, stop. I had some Shibuya Knits, Silk Cloud and Ash left over. So that was used in those little bits. So it's wonderful. It's, as with any Stephen West shawl, it is a nicely sized garment. I love the stripe. It is a lot of fun. And again, this DK, 100% merino, non-superwash DK, and the silk mohair, it is so soft, so soft. It's a dream. So yeah, this was done last podcast, but I ended up having a lot of things to show you last time, and I forgot about it. But I had finished it because it was in my closet and I had already worn it. Yeah. Stephen West. He should be Sir Stephen West. But he's not in Great Britain. He's in Amsterdam. So, but anyway. Does the Queen knight non-British citizens? I don't know. Is there a non-British citizen that is received the title of Sir? What title do women receive? I have no idea. Just thinking about it. Okay. Yeah, that's it for finished. And so let's move into girls. No. I mean, this is highly annoying. This is the worst yet. Okay. Works in progress. So I made the knitted dress, the fitted dress, yes. And I had quite a bit of the yarn left over. It's a Lion brand woolen acrylic or just acrylic, let me see. Woolies. So I had a bunch of this left over from the knitted dress. 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So then I thought, well, I don't want 3 hats, and I wasn't going to make a bunch of hats. So, oh, and I didn't print it out again. Okay, let's see. So, and do I have this on my phone? Oh, for goodness sakes. I will see if I can insert here a picture. It's from Inside Crochet Magazine. I get that digitally, and it's on my iPad, which I'm filming on my iPad, recording on my iPad, so I can't show it to you right now. I'll try to insert a photo. I'll be testing my editing skills on this one for sure. And a cute little sweater called for bulky. And I thought, well, sure, I've got enough. So this is in progress. And it is a cropped bulky sweater. It is long sleeve, so I'm just about done. So last night I was working on this. I'm on the last row, and this is dark, so it's hard to see. I have, right there, can you see from this bobble to this bobble? That's it. That's all I had, and the bottom was done. And I ran out of yarn. So back to Joann's I go, but I'm acquiring a list, unfortunately, for Joann's, and it's not like I can just pop out and go to Joann's, because it's in Petoskey, which is 40 minutes away. So that's almost an hour and a half round trip to go to Joann's. So I'm not running up for one little thing, and you kind of, it's one of those things where you have to wait until you have enough errands, and then you can go. But I do have to go to Petoskey tomorrow, and there's a reason why this is covered in dog hair, which I'll get to. So that's it. That's all I had to finish, but I kind of liked it with the short sleeve. And so I tried it on. I will try it on for you. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I know crop sweaters are in, but honestly, and not to show off, but I mean, here's the girls, and it's like, okay, the girls are what in the world? Come on, really? But I do like the short sleeves. Oh, this, I just laughed. I just fell on the floor laughing when I tried this on. And I do like it. It's cute. But really, honestly? And so, of course, you're saying, did you check gauge? Did you swatch? No, I did not swatch, but before you say, huh, told you so, hang on. We're gonna take this off. We've all had our laugh. All right, so hopefully you've all recovered from laughing. That's about how long it took me to recover. Oh, mohair everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. Mohair, like dog hair, it sheds. Okay, so I know if you're a swatcher, you're saying, well, of course it doesn't fit. You didn't swatch. Well, of course it doesn't fit. You didn't check your gauge. Well, let me tell you, this doesn't have it. I looked at the diagram. I looked at the measurements on the diagram. From this edge of the neck straight down to the bottom on the diagram is 16.5 inches. This is 16 inches. So, really? How petite is the model on the picture? I mean, it doesn't look like a bustier top on her. Oh. And, well, anyway. So, and I got out my gauge checker and checked it on the straight part here. I am perfectly on gauge. So, there. Mom. I know, there was your first thought, wasn't it? Because I didn't swatch or check gauge. But this is exactly on gauge and it matches the measurements. I'm a 1/2 inch off. Well, so I'm trying to use up, the whole point of making this with this leftover yarn was to use up my stash. And I didn't want 5 purple hats. And so I'm gonna go to the store when I go to Joann's because that pink shirt that I made last time, it's wonderful except for the sleeves being upside down. Next shirt, we're going to be marking the front and back of the sleeve. This pattern doesn't have that marker on there, so I didn't mark it. But I will be doing that. Anyway, girls, stop. No. I was at Joann's buying buttons for the shirt, had 2 strips of buttons in my hand. Somehow, from the button section to the cashier, I only ended up paying for and having 1 strip of buttons. So that was first on my list for Joann's, another thing of buttons for my shirt. So now, since I'm going for buttons, I will pick up probably 2 skeins of this. I do like the short sleeve, but I need 6 inches added to this body for sure. I'm sorry, I know the crop thing is all the rage, but I'm not walking around with the sweater up to here. It's just not gonna happen. So, but I do like it. I like the pattern, and I did this whole thing in 2 evenings. Crochet, I'm telling you, crochet is incredibly fast, plus you're using a large hook, 10mm hook, which, by the way, you know who, the young one, the one causing all the problems right now, took the sweater off the coffee table when my daughter and I went to dinner last night. So not only did she eat my crochet hook, she dragged this on the area rug, which is wool and has dog hair on it. So now this is covered in dog hair. So now from Joann's, I need buttons, 2 skeins of yarn because I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the sleeves on it, and a crochet hook. but I love her. I really do. Oh, and this lives in my Fat Wool Co. extra large project bag. This is one of the very first ones I made for myself. They now have hardware and a cinch, but this one's zippers, and it had a tab. And look at the inside. Yeah. Love it. So that's in here. So that's that work in progress. No, you need to stop. Here's my other one that I started. So here's my next work in progress. It's in Fat Wool Co. Knit Night Clutch. Anna Maria Horner. Guys, stop it. And last year I did Knitstars. I did Knitstars 3.0. I think right now they are, signups have stopped, closed, and they're releasing right now the videos for Knitstars 4. And I think they went to South America was the theme this time. So when I did it, 3.0, it was Fair Isle. Color work? Maybe it was just color work was the theme. Arne and Carlos were one of the presenters. And so this was a pattern from Knitstars. So I'm making these. And because they are Norwegian, and this is a Norwegian pattern, I have used this yarn before. I've shown you the mittens, color work, Selbu mittens that I've made before, and some yarn that I received in the Fiber Share exchange. So I ordered this Norwegian Raume in the Strikkegarn. I used to be fluent in German back in high school, so it's Norwegian, but they're very similar. I don't know if that's how they pronounce it. I'm just making it up. I have no idea. I sound so professional. Anyway, so these are my two colors. And this yarn is, shall we say, toothsome. So after you work with BFL cashmere and silk and mohair, and it's so soft, this feels sheepy, toothsome. Wool. When people say, oh, I can't stand wool, it's so scratchy, you know, this is probably what they are thinking of or what comes to mind, but I'm sure for mittens they'll be wonderful. Really, colorwork mittens, give them a try. Do not be scared. There's a chart, which I'm not going to show. Well, I'll just show a little bit of, no, I won't show it. But anyway, it's there aren't written instructions. It's a color chart, and I used to cross stitch, so it's not a problem. Just you go right along in the row, and so it's white, white, blue, 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 white, blue, and you just whip right around. It's so fast. With my previous color work and having the tension issues, I am trying to make sure I give enough on the floats on the inside so that I don't have those issues. But yeah, I got all this done last night. Very, very fast. So I don't know really what else to say. You can just see the pattern. That is the palm side of the mitten, and this is the top side of the mitten. Of course, it doesn't look like anything now, I know. But that is my work in progress. So I will have a number of, I will have this, and I have some multiple colors. Girls, stop. That's enough. So that is a work in progress. Okay, so have a little spot of tea. Isn't this gorgeous china? Isn't that beautiful? And for our wedding, my bridesmaids wore deep, deep indigo violet purple velvet dresses. And this was in the days where everybody had the same dress, 26 years ago. So just deep, like not even purple, just deep, like almost black. Just, they were so pretty. Well, and our wedding was October 30th, so we just had our 26th anniversary. These dogs, honestly, I don't. Stop! That's enough. Go! No! Now stop! All right. This is usually a problem when I podcast, but they usually stop eventually. All right. So let's talk future knitting. I am so excited about this next project. So, excuse me. So I showed you the last podcast, the new released sweater. Now I can't remember the name of it, but it was on the gray one that I dyed the gray soot yarn for, and it had the color work on the yoke, and it was a brand new release. I still plan on making that, but now that, and of course that was in October, and you know, Halloween was coming, and I was totally into the dark and the orange, and which I love. But now that's all past. And you have no idea how hard it was for me not to skein this up, because I wanted to show you the yarns before they're caked up. And one of them is already hand wound in a ball, so I wanted you to be able to see it. So I don't know exactly how to say her name. Beata. Americans, we can't pronounce anything. From Hedgehog Fibers. She comes out with fabulous patterns, and they are free on her website, hedgehogfibers.com. So if you go there, she's got some wonderful shawls, sweaters, all kinds of different things, and her patterns are free. And so this came out, and as you know, I'm trying to go through my stash and use up as much of my stash as I can. This totally jumped in line in front of anything else. Well, I had to get this done first. I want to get, oh, it's out in the car. I'll have to show it to you later. I'm making progress on the cowl, which is the Christmas gift for my husband. The front is done. I'll podcast before Christmas. I'll podcast again, and I'll show it to you. And I'm on the lining on the inside. It's going fabulously. So I want to get that done, this done, and that before I cast it off anything else. Oh my gosh. I just noticed. I got makeup going everywhere. Wow. Looking a little rough around the edges today for some reason. I know. Probably the dogs are driving me nuts. Okay, so anyway, I'm trying to use up yarns. And I had that one planned, and the color work is from my stash, but then of course I didn't have anything in my stash for the body of the yarn, so I dyed some. It's in the store, Roberta Rae, and then this showed up. Le poof. And alarm bells went off, party balloons went off. I mean, everything went off, and I thought, okay, I am making this. And it asks for sock yarn held double. Hello! 5 skeins. 5 skeins of sock yarn held double. Do I have 5 skeins of sock yarn that I could put together? Heck yeah! And I originally started with this. I have had this for a couple years, probably. It is Ocean Mist by Christy from Yarn Cafe Creations. And Ocean Mist. She showed this on one of her podcasts couple years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it is. And I really wanted to try it out. So, and I couldn't decide. I just keep staring at it. What can I use this with? And so I pulled this out for this sweater. And then I looked and looked and looked. That's better. I don't know why it was so loose before. So here we go. So what do I have in my stash that could possibly go with this? And I want to do, here's some more pictures. I want to do what she's done. I want to go light to dark. Now that's higher in the front. She's pretty petite, so we'll see. I might be adding some length to the front. We shall see. No more bustiers. Okay, so I've shown this before. Little Tailoress. This was one of her yarn clubs. I don't know if she carries this. Well, now she's Dogwood and Dandelion instead of Little Tailoress. But anyway, this was a 3-month yarn club that she did, and her theme was diner or pie shop or diner or something like that. Oh, this doesn't have a name on it. Just Little Tailoress. And they came with a little treat and a stitch marker, which is now in my tin of stitch markers. So I'm not going to use this. I'll put that in for something else. So this is the lightest color. Then we're going to go to this one. Then we're going to go to this one. This had to have been a yarn club. This is Life in the Long Grass. So this had to have come from a yarn club from Stephen West. His West Knits Yarn Along, not this year, because this year he included his West Knits bicycle yarn. So this must have been the year before. I'm thinking, because I normally would not order this color. So that's why I'm thinking it had to have come from a yarn club. So this is Life in the Long Grass, single sock in this color. So this is next. Here's their label. I'll put these down. You might have seen this label. Life in the Long Grass. Isn't that pretty? There's nothing wrong with it. It's not, I like it very much. It's just, if you've watched enough of my podcast, blue is not a color I generally go for. But I wanted to use this, so that's why this sweater is going to be blue. So this is number 3. This one, no idea. It was hand wound in my stash. When I very first started crocheting, I bought this and I crocheted my girls a pair of socks, one of my girls. So I know that's what this is from. I have no idea who it is. I have no idea where I got it. It's like 8 years old. I have no idea. But there's a lot of it here, as you can see. So that's the next color. And I don't know if I can hold the next one up. So this one came with the same Life in the Long Grass. So this is my last color. Sphera. S-P-H-A-I-R-A. Sphera. Single sock. So this is going to be, and I cannot wait. I'll probably wind these up as soon as I'm done. While this is taking 5 hours to upload, I will wind up. This is going to be my Le Pouf sweater. Very excited. Very excited. Cannot wait. And I thought this would be lovely colors to to work on in December, January. However, so this is what I've decided. However, so that will be Le Pouf. I was really having a hard time. As much as I wanted to use Ocean Mist, I was having an incredibly hard time because I just absolutely love my magentas and purples and charcoals and yellows together. It's just the bomb. So, like I said, I really don't make anything blue. Have I made anything blue? I don't think so. Well, the navy blue, but not this light minty blue. I've never, it's just not my thing. So, this was, I looked at it for days. I had these 5 color combinations set out for days. And I'd look at them every time I walked in the room. Which one? Which one should I do? Oh, I really want to use this, but holy cow. Okay, my husband needs to stop texting me. I told him I'm podcasting. Stop. Okay, so this was really, I really wanted to make a sweater in this too. So this was the lightest color. These are all from my stash. We are stash busting. This is Primrose Yarn Company. Crazy right now. I think that's the color name. Primrose Yarn. So that's color number 1. Color number 2. Garn Stories. I'm pretty sure I picked this up. Can't remember if it was my trip this summer or at UIF. Listen to me. It was either in Paris or Edinburgh. I don't know. But you can't find this in any shops I've been to in the United States, so I definitely picked it up. So, oh my gosh. Is that not gorgeous? So that's color 2. Do you see where this is heading? Number 3. Skein yarn. This was a West Knits 2018. So this came from a yarn along. You have no idea. No idea what this does for me. Color number 4, Garn Stories. Pretty sure I got this summer. Honestly, nothing lights my fire more than these colors right here. So Garn Stories, this is Funky Biz. Funky Biz, look at that. Oh, Garn Stories, my absolute favorite dyer outside of Roberta Rae, of course. And then, I'm not sure what this is, but this is pre-wound from another project in my stash. It's a purpley charcoal. Oh, honestly, yes. This is what I really wanted to use. But I thought, no, let's change it up. We're going to do the minty blue. But this is still sitting out. I mean, so I was going through patterns. And what did I find? I had purchased this. The Dog Walker by Plucky Knitter. Let me tell you what yarn it requires. Oh, she has a worsted version and an Aran version. So what are we going to do? We're going to make this sweater out of these yarns, we're going to hold the sock yarn double again to make Erin. And yes, I'll check my gauge as I go. I'm not going to do it ahead of time. And she has wonderful schematics for both worsted and Erin. So I've already taken the schematics, measured from the top of the turtleneck, if you stretch the turtleneck up, to the bottom of the hem, how many inches it is, and I divided by 4 colors because I don't have as much of this. So I divided the total length, I'm not going to show it to you, it's paid for pattern, divided that by 4 colors. Turned out to be 8 inches, I believe. So I am going to do 7 inches of each of these, and hopefully 4 inches of this. I might even do 7.5 inches and 3 inches of this on the bottom, because I have no idea what it is, and I want enough for the hem at the bottom of the sweater and the bottoms of the sleeves, because I'm going to do this sweater, but I'm going to variegate the yarn just like this. So and it'll work out just fine. It's just yarn. Remember? Oh, I can't lose my little notes here. So I've already measured it all out. I've already got it all figured out. I already know it's going to work. So when I'm done with ice cold and blue and tired of January and monochromatic to get ready for spring, we're gonna light things up. Maybe by Valentine's Day. Wouldn't that be nice if by February I could be done with that blue sweater and I could be working on this when you're ready to light the fire and warm things up outside. Oh, so excited. So excited. So there's 10 more skeins out of my stash. 10 skeins gone in 2 sweaters. So excited. Isn't this fun to be so excited and have these things planned and ready to go? But yeah, today we are skeining these suckers up while this is uploading, and it takes forever and a day to upload. Okay, I guess that's it for projects. Oh my gosh, never enough time, never enough time. So I mentioned before, Roberta Rae Fibers, we sold out of the bisque mohair. There are 4 more in the store. And then while I was doing that, I came up with this. It's similar to our Spring Awakening, but it's different. And this one is called Tutu. Tutu. Mohair, and it has pink tonal. Isn't that cute? Tutu. So 2 new mohair. Well, this is a restock and a new mohair in the store. Okay, let's look at my new fabrics, and I think we're almost done. Then it's time to have cupcakes. So I've talked about how Anna Maria Horner is my absolute favorite fabric designer. In addition to Anna Maria Horner, I also love Fassett. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Just to have this in your head, and Anna Maria Horner, just to have these colors and these things in your head. How lovely to see the world and that much color and that much design in your head. Just amazing. So these will be some bags, bag fabrics. Item reorder. Oh, and then I will insert some video after this of the quilt. We'll go downstairs and take a look at that. This one I purchased previously. Love it. This is Kaffe. This one, Anna Maria Horner. I showed a sewing pattern a few podcasts ago. It looked like a button-down shirt, but it was long, like a dress, a shirt dress. I think I'm going to order this and make a shirt dress out of this. Yeah. Oh my gosh. With some really cool strappy heels. Maybe orange heels that wrap around your ankle. Because my feet are so skinny, that's the only heels I can wear, is if you can strap those suckers down on my feet. All right. So these will be some bag liners. Look at that. Oh, it just makes my heart sing. What do people do that don't craft? Oh, I banged the table, sorry. I mean, I spend a lot of time crafting. The flower shop has been closed where I worked at this summer, and all the fiber festivals are done. So the last 3 weeks, I took care of what needed to be taken care of around the house. But I just crafted. I knit and sewed, and to my heart's content. And it's like, for people who don't do anything like that, what do they do with their day? I mean, what? I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what people do that have no craft, that don't do anything. I mean, I guess you could read all day, you can clean all day, but I don't know. I'd rather craft. I purchased this one before. Love it. When my girls were little, I made them skirts. Out of that, isn't that great? I just love it. Okay, this one I thought would be a good bag liner. This is Kaffe. So that'll be the inside of something. This will be the inside of something. Isn't that pretty? And this one. Would that be really pretty? Nice soft bag. And this one just calls for pom-pom trim. Look at that. Yeah. Isn't that gorgeous? It's kind of like to have this in your head. That's how you see the world? That's amazing. And I often think of, oh great, now I can't think of his name. The lead singer of Queen, Freddie Mercury. To have that music in your head, I just can't even imagine. Could you imagine Freddie Mercury as an 8th grader in middle school and getting him to sit still in math class? I mean, obviously he was brilliant. I couldn't even imagine. You know, it'd be so cool. Like if you, I've thought about this a number of times. If you could be inside somebody else's brain for a day. I don't know if we could even, like a normal person like me, I probably don't even think I could handle being Freddie Mercury for a day. Just to have that music in your head, it would probably explode the rest of it. But if I could be somebody for a day, who would you be? Who would you be if you could be somebody for a day, just to experience their mind and how they see the world and how they think and how things come to them? Who would you be for a day? I would probably be Elton John. I would want to be Elton John. And to have the music and to be able to play the piano like that and to have music come to you. And now I know he doesn't write his music. Bernie Taupin does, something like that. But to be able to play like that and to have music in your head. Maybe Freddie Mercury for like an hour. 5 minutes. I could handle Freddie Mercury for 5. Oh my gosh, but just stunning. I mean, when you have brilliant people like that pass through our lives, just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Okay, well, I don't need to move these out of the way, so gosh, I think that's it. I'm going to take you downstairs to see the update on the quilt that I'm making. And yeah, it's time for a cupcake. I wish you were here for my party. So you have a cupcake or something. I probably should have poured a glass of champagne. Tell you what, I've actually, after my last podcast, I actually went over 100 subscribers. So thank you. Maybe if I hit 150, we'll have some champagne with our cupcake. Barefoot Contessa coconut cupcakes with cream cheese icing, frosting, cream cheese buttercream, I don't know, cream cheese frosting. It's the bomb. All right, thanks for watching. We need some tea to wash that sucker down. Oh my goodness. Yum.
What happens at the meat party stays at the meat party.
Okay, so here we are in my craft room. This is my design wall for my quilts. And I will insert if you followed my last podcast, you will see that the quilt looks a little different and it's in pieces still. Well, that's because the first one, which is folded up right here, had major problems. It wasn't flat, so I took the large quadrants apart, and then it's supposed to be a rectangle. The finished quilt is supposed to be a rectangle. I took the little quadrant rectangles, not thinking, folded them in half, corner to corner, not lengthwise, edge to edge, but corner to corner, and squared them up. Well, when you square a rectangle up, what shape do you get in the end? A square. I didn't want the quilt to be a square. Okay, no problem. So then I pinned all the stripes together. Things were getting a little wonky and stretched. Sewed it back together. It was even worse. The top edge, instead of going straight across, it went up and then woo. So what's I don't even know what geometric shape that is when a rectangle has bowed edges instead of straight edges. That's how it looked. It was absolutely awful. It was ridiculous. And I couldn't just keep cutting because then the quilt would get smaller and smaller, and then the stripes wouldn't be at a 45-degree angle, which is what they're supposed to be at. And so there was nothing for it except to start over. So here we are. And if I've been a quilter for a very long time, and I know that if you're doing strips, you should really cut your fabric on the bias, which means you cut your fabric on a 45-degree angle from the edge. You just don't cut up and down straight, which is what I did on the first quilt, which allowed everything to stretch out of place. So this time I'm cutting all the fabric on the bias, and I've added a few stripes. And of course when I went back to the quilt shop, they were out of the dark navy blue and they were out of the gray. So, and I got a different white. I didn't really on the first quilt like the bright white. So this is a snowy white. It's not bright white. I think it's called snow actually, Kona Solid. So I changed the white to a softer, creamier white instead of the bright paper white. Had to use a different blue, but then I added some extra stripes. So I'm actually really liking this one. The only other problem, you'll see the top part, those two quadrants are done. They are not sewn together yet, but they're done. You'll see that the bottom two quadrants are still works in progress. The quilt shop was also out of the golden color, and I used up everything that I had left over to make these new stripes. I have nothing left. I've hemmed and hawed and thought, well, I should just use what I have because, you know, of course, I'm trying to use up my stash, trying to use up what I have. I've got plenty of the dark blue, and it was just getting ridiculous. So what I'm going to have to do for this bottom half of the quilt is take this quilt apart. And I can't reuse these sections either because the white background is different. Would someone else who doesn't know anything about this notice it? Probably not. But I'm the quilt maker, so yes, I'm gonna know that the whites don't match. So I'm taking apart all of these little guys, and I'm gonna sew new sections with the new white and finish the quilt. But I'm so happy I remade it. I really, really like this one. I think it's turning out really cool. I've ordered the background fabric from Anna Maria Horner, which is going to be phenomenal with these colors. So I'm very excited, actually, with all the effort and having to redo the quilt top. Of course, I didn't have to. I could have just slapped the other one, but no. We're going to make this right. This is my design, and I really like this one a lot better. Now, if you look at the very top, the white in the middle, there's quite a dip there. So actually, I'm going to add another section, another stripe of blue. So there'll be a little tiny triangle of blue up there in the white so that it'll go straight across. I'm excited. I'm not excited to have to take the first quilt apart. However, it won't be completely wasted because I have a friend who makes prayer quilts, and these quadrants are actually the perfect size for a prayer quilt. So I'm going to give, once I take apart half of it to take all the stripes out, I'm going to give the rest to her, and she can make prayer quilts. So it is not for lost. Anyway, so that is my quilting design. That is my sewing update for today. So thanks for watching. See you later.